Hey yo, it's your boy Sam Duke,
It's your man, McKell.
It's your boy Warren P.
and you are watching or listening to another great episode of You
You
Good, bruh?
good, bruh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to us, watch us. However, you're taking us in today. Please, before we get started, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube page, please, first things first, go ahead, subscribe to the page, hit the bell so you know when we're dropping something new. Share it with somebody because you know people know they need the things that we're out here giving them, guys. Also, give us a follow. You Good Bro Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, You Good Bro Pod on Twitter.
It's appreciated.
It would be definitely appreciated.
Yeah,
It's been a while, fellas. We haven't seen each other in a month of Sundays.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to take time to kind of restart, reboot, and it's just been so much stuff happening, man. Like I can't even. I'm not even making no excuses about it. It's really been difficult for me to get focused with so much hitting you over the head. Now, it's by design, but that's my reasoning. Um,
So with that being said, Warren had an idea, and I think we need to try it. We need to
okay.
Nah,
start
you
off.
had the idea.
We
Don't
had
don't
the
give me credit. You
idea.
had the idea. I want you to get your credit,
Okay, all
brother.
right. All right, look, we had an idea. And I think the first things first is just kind of to start the pod with how we feeling. And so the last podcast we had a conversation about the feeling wheel. And I think that, I sat with the wheel a little bit of time and I was just like, man, it'd be good to kind of, embrace this wheel and kind of share the different level of feelings because we all know the majority of the main feelings, happy, sad, angry,
Mm,
what is the others? I don't know. We know the main ones. But the feeling wheel kind of branches off into some other feelings. And I think that as we promote, mental health, mental well being, mental resilience now, uh, we want to make sure that we're sharing up with the way we feel too. So
yeah.
we want to pull up the feeling wheel. Everybody gets a chance. Who wants to go first is really what we
I
need to
go
know. Who want to
first.
go first? All right, all right.
Um, as we pull up the feeling wheel, I'm gonna say honestly, content. Like the last year, I don't know if y'all peeped my body language or some of the stuff. Like I had some very difficult challenges financially, emotionally, dealing with family members and things of that nature. But I overcame, and I'm grateful for the support system that I had through that, my family, my friends. And then, I'm been on this new thing, I say the past couple of months to where it's like the yin and the yang, where hey, it's gonna be bad shit that comes along with the good shit. And we have to be appreciative of both because when you're going through the downside, you praying to God for like, hey, get me out of this, let me experience that up again. And then when you up, sometimes you get a little bit too content and you're reminded of things still going on. But before I pass it off, let me take my shades off. I want to send RIP to Reggie's mom. I know he listens to the podcast, so I just want you to know, my brother, like I'm here for you. We here for you. We love you. Sorry about your loss. I understand that pain, but I lost my mom at an early age. He lost his mom much later in life, so that's a different type of pain that I do not truly understand. And I do want everybody out there who's lost a parent or lost somebody close to them to know that, hey, man, it is okay to reach out. It's okay to be vulnerable. People love you. People care about you. You do not have to suffer through that alone. By the time this podcast comes out, I just had a close friend lose their brother. I send my condolences, I send my love, and I'm gonna be here for you. So I just
Mm,
that goes back into the content to where it's like, look, hey man, as we get older, we're gonna experience a lot more challenges. But thankfully we also get to experience a lot more life, a lot more peace, a lot more triumphs. So it
Bruh,
goes back to the content and the yin and
my
yang of things. So
my
that's where I'm
man.
at with it.
I don't want to cut you off, but I feel as if because you put that out there, I'm compelled to tell you this. I went down to see Reggie during his one of his mother's viewing,
Mm.
and he, and we do this. This is what we do. This is our labor of love. We enjoy getting on this podcast, having fun, having conversations, getting going through things. And he was just like, "Yo, y'all got me through one of my nights after my mom passed." And
Yeah.
I
Mm.
was like, "Whoa." He was like, "Yeah, I was just looking for things to just pass my time." And he was just like, and just the laughter, the brotherhood that y'all are sharing on the and during the conversation was just good for. He was this is him saying this to me.
Yeah.
He said
Mm.
it was just good for him, and so I
Right.
just want you brothers to know, because he wanted me to let y'all know that we this small labor of love is something that brought him some joy during his downtimes. And so I appreciate you for bringing that up, because our listeners, we all going through things, and he
Yeah.
was going through something, and he said the pod gave him 2 hours that he didn't necessarily have to think about what was going on in his life. And so,
Right.
just to let you know, I appreciate you for shouting them out.
Yeah.
Same.
Oh no,
Same.
man. That's my guy. We love you. We here for you. So
Oh
that's
man.
me on the content. So I pass it off. Now I can put my shades back on because that was serious.
That
This nigga.
I mean,
say
I'm
that
still gonna be a
again.
nigga, like.
Well, yeah. So I'll speak on it. I think I'm a couple of things, and you can be more than one thing. I always tell my clients that, but um, I think one that kind of sticks out for me is kind of a rage space, and I think I used the word earlier, smoldering. Like it's like it's not full blown fire, but it's getting real smoky. It's you starting to see some embers, that type of like smoldering. And I'm also feeling discouraged. And I'm looking at the feeling wheel. That's it. Discouraged, rage, and that's it.
Okay.
Do you feel like sharing, or you ain't got to? You ain't got to if you don't want to.
I mean, the world we in is like I said earlier to Sam. The world we in is the place we live is very low vibrational right now. We are in the process, and I say we, I'm talking about the country. We're in the process of hurting families and children under the guise of protecting children and family.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting. And you kind of feel like you're not significant enough to make any difference. And I think that's one reason people are kind of like on their hands because they're like, well, what can I do? I voted,
Yeah, I did. I
whatever it
did
is.
my part.
I did vote. What
Yeah.
else can I do?
Yeah.
And there's nobody that's stepping up to articulate, what to do. Like there's no true leader of someone. There's no true leader of people that can make a difference. And I think that's how people. And so I guess helpless would be. Yeah, there you go. Helpless, discouraged, and enraged. That's where I'm at.
Man. Sheesh. Well, that's heavy, brother.
Oh, so my bad.
No, no, but it's
You good?
real. It's heavy, but it's real,
Yeah,
dog. Like the
yeah.
reality is that's what it's the real deal. That's where we're at. For me, I would say, and I think I'm going to use mine to probably lift you up a little bit, Miguel.
I take it.
First things first. I think I feel I feel thankful. With everything going on in the world. You know, my wife lost her job, but God is
I'm
amazing.
sorry to hear that.
Hey man, it's life, brother. But God is
Mhm.
amazing, and He always looks out, and we're fine. That's not I'm not saying that to get any kind of a sympathy, but I'm thankful for the way that God looks after me and my family. I'm thankful to be in a position where my wife can lose her job and I don't necessarily have to, you know, pull my hair out. You know what I'm saying?
Things
I'm
they
thankful.
misspeak.
I'm thankful
Yeah.
for that. Um, but also I think I said another thing. I guess I'm in this peaceful space. I'm really deep in this peaceful space. When I'm looking at everything here, I would say I'm actually a little hearing what you had to say, Mikhail. It makes me a little sentimental, and the reason being is there's a there's a lot going on in the world right now, and
Mm-hmm.
and although you may feel as if you know you don't know what you can do and how you can fix it or whatever the case may be, I'm gonna say this, man. You being you makes this world better, bro, Mikhail. And
Facts.
I'm not like trying to like I'm not trying to be that guy to just be just gassing you up or anything
No,
like
I
that.
don't take that. I don't take that.
But the reality of the situation, dog, is you being who you are is of a benefit to society, a benefit to the world, and a benefit uh it's a benefit to me. You know what I'm saying? It's a benefit to
Mm.
me.
Well, thank you for saying that.
I just want to say
And
quickly,
uh,
he helped keep me out of jail, audience. So Mikhail is a benefit to not only myself and my family. Back to you, Sam. Back to you, Sam.
well, I mean, I'm gonna say this, bro, because I think this is really, really, really important, dog. Mikhail, you know, I trust Mikhail with some of the people that are most dear to me, and and I ain't bullshitting when I say like Mikhail's a bomb therapist. He's a bomb mental health professional. He does, he is Jordan. When me and Warren talk about it, we call him
What?
Jordan because he's
Yeah.
Jordan of this shit, right?
Oh
And
God.
I'll say this: I think over a year ago, I trusted Mikhail with somebody very dear to me, you know, very near and dear to me, and I will say that what he's done for that person in my life is something I can't even
Mm.
I can't even put words on it.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? And I know that it's not him by himself, but it's the work that he's allowing that individual to do and the introspection he's allowing that individual to have and the growth that I've seen in that person that I love. You know, I say this, when I brought this person to Mikhail, there was no light.
Mm.
And today I will say this individual shines so bright. And I'm just appreciative for you, brother, that you are in that space, dog. And
Yeah.
that you persist in the space. I know it's a space sometimes you say you don't feel like it loves you and you
Mm.
don't feel like it loves you back. But I'm just being real, dog. Like what you do, I've never brought, and I brought several people to my boy, and I've never brought anybody to him that has come to me and like, hey man, nah, that ain't work out for me. You know what I'm saying? That I'm just being real because I've done that, but I am what they call a connector in life. That's what
That's
people
it.
call me. I'm a
Yeah.
connector. Like people call me to find things and find people, find resources. And because you're a connector, what you get a lot of is, hey, that shit didn't work out for me. Let me tell you what happened
Yeah.
here. Like but in the case of Mikhail Rose year, there has never been one individual that has interacted with this man from that perspective, from his professional perspective, that hasn't come back to me and said, man, everything that I needed, I got dealing with this
Damn.
man. And so I'm just letting you know, brother, like from brother to brother, what you doing out here, man, is spectacular. Because
Thank you. It's through God.
I say this when I do the podcast, and Warren says it all the time. It could just be one, bro. Like it don't even need to be. We ain't even doing this for subscribers and all this other stuff
Yeah.
because if we were, we just get on here and say some stupid shit every day and just put the videos out.
Right. And go
You get what I'm
viral.
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, he'll just go out here and say some stupid shit, go viral, and put the videos out. But the reality of the situation is we're doing real work. And before we wrap this feeling space up, because we've gotten really. Before I wrap this up, I want to say that there was one listener that actually came through my wife and was just saying that she, listens to the podcast, and and there's certain individuals that listen to our podcast, and they listen to it regularly, and there was a perspective that I was given that I didn't think about, because we think about, oh, our listeners are men, or listeners are women who are trying
Hmm.
to get stuff to their men,
Yeah.
but I've never thought about our listeners being women who are trying to learn to raise their men,
Mm.
trying to learn to raise their children.
Right.
And so I would just say that for the listeners that are those individuals that, after talking to my wife, was just like, yeah, this person's like, yeah, I listen to the podcast because I want my son to be men like them, men that actually want to
Hmm.
think through things, men that are emotionally intelligent men. And I was just like, sheesh.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is
It's,
crazy. I mean, that's everything you said to this point is uplifting, and at the same time, it's very sobering. You know what I mean? Because it's like,
yeah,
whoa, it's a lot, and everything you said, I receive it. I'm trying to learn how to take compliments and accolades, but for me, it definitely is a spiritual journey. So any good that's come through me, I know where I'm rooted in and where it comes from. And I try to walk in that spirit. So maybe that's what people are experiencing when they experience time with me. At least that's my goal. Like, one of the things I learned early on is the one thing that people remember about anybody that they meet is how they made them feel when they met. You know what I mean?
that's real.
And so that's why I try to be um, memorable in the wrong way. You know, and that's just the spirit that I walk in. So, would you say, Warren?
The last comment was like, depending on who you ask, be like, hey, I fuck with Warren heavy, or I don't like that guy.
I
So,
mean,
but
Well, I mean, I'm
I
being
was thinking
myself.
I need to be better with that part.
it's like,
And,
bro, I
and,
don't know
and
how the hell I made the.
yeah, and I do want to foreshadow an episode in the future. We gonna talk about how Mikhail saved Warren from going to jail one night.
Oh God.
Uh,
Okay.
no, I mean, that's a story that we need to get, bro. We need it. Folks need that one.
I
But
take it.
but yeah, with that being said, man, I'll just say we're gonna go from that to just talking about what's currently going on, man. I really, first of all, I appreciate that segment, Warren. I think we're gonna keep that. That's a good one.
So you
Like,
don't put that on me, but I love it
yeah.
too. I'll take it though.
But
You
yeah,
should.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
keep it, man. So I think that with that being said, there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on, and we are in the weekend of the Super Bowl draft, not the Super Bowl, but the football draft, in the
Hmm.
NFL draft, and we I don't even know how to like even explain this, but we just gonna cut to the chase. The draft happened, of course. A bunch of young talented black men have been drafted, but there was one particular individual who was on everybody's draft board to be, he's top 20 on everybody's draft board, even if he did not get drafted in the first round because of need. The reality of it is he was definitely a surefire second rounder as far as quarterbacks are concerned in college football. Shedeur Sanders, the son of Deion Primetime Sanders, fell to the fifth round. That shit
One,
don't
two,
even
three,
sound
four,
fifth.
fifth.
He fell to
Yeah.
the fifth round of the NFL draft, and needless to say, there's been plenty of talk, plenty of buzz, plenty of opinions, think pieces associated with why that is. And I think first things first, before we even get into it, I think it'd be a good idea to just talk about why we think he fell to the fifth round. What is it that made him fall? It's a tremendous fall.
I,
But he was one of the top 5 best quarterbacks, and I'd say top 3.
yeah.
I'd say top 3.
Can I share as a Raiders fan? Yes,
Oh,
Raiders.
even better, because
Las Vegas Raiders
y'all
fan. Yes.
need a
All right.
quarterback.
So our season, we were 2-12, and ask anybody that talked to me. I was like, "Hey, I want to keep losing, so we can get Shedeur." It was gonna be Shedeur Cam. This is how the ratings were, whereas like Shedeur and Cam gonna be the first 2 QBs selected. Like, mind you, this is before all the pre-draft stuff. So we win 2 more games. We fall out of, the first 3 picks of the draft. So I'm like, shit. You can ask my wife, you can ask my people. Damn, man, we ain't gonna be able to get Shedeur anymore. So draft comes around. Okay. I'm like, hey man, we can get Shedeur, but we got Genty. We signed Geno. So I'm like, okay, we're not gonna get a quarterback in the first round. I'll accept that. We're not gonna get a quarterback in the first round. We got Geno, even though I think he's trash. I hope he doesn't watch the podcast. But even though I think he's trash, I'm like, all right, we could possibly get him in the second, maybe the third, have a quarterback for the future. So I'm telling my wife, well, the Saints, she from New Orleans. So I'm like, yo, the Saints will get him at 9. Falls. Pittsburgh can get him. They need a quarterback. Falls. And he keeps falling. And like, all right, round 2, I'm like, shit, we make it get Shedeur still. We on draft in 3rd round. I'm like, we can get Shedeur. Like, I'm like, hold on, he fell again. And I'm telling my wife, like, because she hit me, like, do you think it's bigger than what it is that Shedeur didn't get drafted in the first round? I'm like, nah, baby. There wasn't a lot of quarterbacks. There wasn't quarterback heavy draft this year. He'll get drafted in the second. Don't worry about it. It's not bigger than that. I feel it is, but it's not bigger than that. But when he slid all the way to the 5th, I had God bless the dead, Zadrian's son hit me and asked me, was I watching the draft on Saturday morning? And I texted him back like, I'm watching him, but I'm pissed. I'm like, how they doing this young, confident black man? Like, they going at him. They going at his father. And for me, if you ask me why I think he didn't get drafted the way he got drafted, especially she came my Raiders, but they don't want to see a confident black man to where it's like he don't need the NFL. He don't need these these powers that be to make him be successful in life. And they hate that type of confidence. And y'all know who they is. I can't say they who I want to say because I want this podcast to flourish and go on.
Do they hate? Hold on. Do they hate that or do they hate
black confidence?
Well, I was gonna say autonomy. He don't need them. I don't have to be attached to you.
Yeah.
I don't. Meaning, if you can pick me or not, I done already made.
I'm still gonna be all right. Yeah,
I'm good. And because he's good, he doesn't necessarily have to jump through all the hoops that everybody else has to jump through, and that pisses some people off. When in actuality, the brother's talented. You look at his stats over the 50 games that he played in his college career. I mean, the boy got a pretty good rating. Like, and it makes no sense. So
I had to add this in there.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. They've selected known people who have killed people in
no. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No. I have to say this. They have picked people that they have.
Yeah, you gotta say that, Warren. You gotta put that out there.
They've picked on tape domestic abusers. But a confident black man, I don't know if we can. He seems like too much. It'd be too much about. But you can take these cats that you've seen put their hands on women.
They need
many cases some of sexual abuse.
Pending cases.
You have to understand what I said. They need the NFL. Meaning the NFL can let they pick those people. That's why I was like, you're gonna go there, But the reality is that when you have a peppered past or present, right? You're in a deficit. People can you have to depend on people. Shedeur can walk on the field and off the field. Shedeur could kneel at games and never be hurt by it.
Yeah.
Oh, my career's over. All right, F you then. I got, you know, I got plenty of Instagram followers. I can turn to another career. Like
I
I can go
mean,
to a reality show. That's
yeah.
the point. Is like he's in a position where he doesn't need. And anytime you're in that position, it's a disadvantage for those that will take advantage of you. The oppressors take advantage. When you think about how we came into this space that we're in now, there's only one reason they would not want us to be able to read and write, to put us at a disadvantage where they could leverage that ignorance and that inability to take advantage of us. So understand that what has happened in the past has been happening and it's happening now. We're just witnessing it, and that's what I mean by because we supposed to be in such a meritocracy right now, bullshit. But yet that's where we're supposed to be on merit. This man should have gone at the at least number 7 pick, in my humble opinion, 7 or 9, somewhere in there. And that's just me as a novice. You know what I mean? And not realizing that everybody don't need a quarterback.
I thought he would have fell to Pittsburgh. That's where I was like,
Yeah.
he would ended up. Like that's when it was like, oh no, this is bad. Like
Yeah, this
that was
bigger than
21,
football.
right? That was 21.
Yeah, that was
Like
when
because
this bigger than
I
football.
I'll just be honest with you, because Shedeur is great, and I'm not going to diminish his talent, because his talent is
Mm-mm.
top tier. For what he had to deal with, especially on the FBS level, because he didn't have an offensive line. He fought for his life, the most hit quarterback, most sacked quarterback. The list goes on about the what he accomplished, even though or in spite of what
In
he didn't
spite of,
have.
right.
And but even with all of that, there's some question marks. People, the reality of the situation is the athleticism of what they want in the league is different, and Shedeur ain't there with that, right? I'm not gonna like that's not a that's it's not a slight. It's just the reality of the situation. He's not the fastest quarterback. He is not one of the ones that make you miss. And so that's why I was like, okay, I get it. If you don't want him early, the 7th pick, I get that.
Gave
21.
Gino $80
You
million,
get what I'm
and
saying?
he don't fit that.
I mean, agreed with you, but Gino's proven and has been in the league. So you got, you can't really, that's not apples to apples, right? What I'm saying is ultimately, at the end of the day, in understanding that, I understand you as a Raiders fan. Yeah, y'all trip. I don't know what the hell's wrong with y'all, because having him sit behind Gino for a year is nothing but gravy for y'all.
Oh
You
my
get what I'm
God,
saying?
perfect.
But it is what it is. But for me, I'm gonna take it a step further. I don't think it was about him more than it was about his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I appreciate his confidence, and I think that there may be people that appreciate his confidence as well. Like some of the teams that may have appreciated his confidence, but I do not think, when you talk about the autonomy for me comes from his father.
Oh, no doubt. I mean,
That's
he had a good
that
NIL deal, but
yeah, yeah, of course. But the
so
reality,
I'm gonna say something that is
yeah,
gonna
go
be
ahead, go ahead.
taken weird. I knew he was going to the Browns after the first 2 rounds.
Me too.
And the crazy part is, how I knew, and this is the part that sounds crazy. It came to me in a dream.
Oh damn, nah, that ain't how I do it.
That's not how you
Yeah,
explain
damn.
that's
it.
not how I do it. That's not how.
I'm telling you, like because I had it was the night I made the post about us being low vibration,
Yeah,
and so it was on my mind, and I guess God was like, the boy gonna be all right.
yeah.
Here you go. And I saw him in a Browns uniform, and I woke up, and it didn't happen the next day. It was the day after, I think it was. And I said to myself, I was like, wow, this country is really falling victim to what could be deemed as some people say is a white supremacy rearing its head for the last breath, trying to salvage what it can. And I'm seeing how this is really played out, because why didn't he go to New Orleans? You know,
Well,
uh,
well, Well, I mean, what do you mean? Why did he go to New Orleans? White supremacy is steeped in New Orleans.
That's what I'm trying. That's
That
you're making my point.
Yeah, the last quarterback in New Orleans. First of all, the New Orleans Saints as an organization,
Organization.
don't get me started on them
Yeah, I
motherfuckers. All
know.
right, because they were PRing for the Catholic Church while they was out here doing things to little boys, trying to tell them how to go about handling their scandals. So
Correct.
that's to the degree of
Correct.
disgusting that organization is. And
Correct.
then, I think that sometimes we get it confused that because of locality and proximity to blackness,
Or fan
that
base. Yeah, the
their
fan
fan
base.
base, yeah, the
Yeah.
fan base, the proximity to fan base changes things, but the reality of the situation, it does not. Drew Brees was probably the most, MAGA,
Absolutely.
quarterback that there was.
Absolutely.
He tried to sprinkle some Creole seasoning on the MAGA shit, but the reality of the situation was it's what he was, right? And so
He is.
that's
But
what he is.
I have to interject
And
there
he could try to
because
put
even
some fucking gumbo on that shit. But
even with you say he's the most MAGA, but there's somebody that let out a tweet that was like, "Hey, what are we doing here? Dog? Like, y'all not going to draft Shedeur?" The
that's
leader
true.
of
The
MAGA
League of
even was
America,
like, "Hey, y'all boys on some
y'all
bullshit."
stupid.
Like, y'all ain't drafting
Like I'm dumb,
Shedeur
but
yet.
Hey
y'all some
man,
dumb
y'all.
shit.
No, but the thing about it is that and not to get too deep into the leader of MAGA, but it goes to show you that his loyalty is only to himself. Like it's not
Correct.
even to the individuals that put
That are
him
loyal to
there
him. That's
or
right.
that are lured to him or that fund him. At the end of the day, and that's one of the things that I guess most people will respect about him is because at the end of the he's not controlled by anybody to that degree. Not there's some other people controlling other things,
Yeah, I
but
was about to say
ultimately
he's not controllable by an American. That's for
yeah,
sure.
not by American. Like there's some other forces at play
Yeah.
that we know that are a lot bigger than just everyday Americans and
Right.
everyday American companies. And so but that's the piece of it. It's like you have to understand like he's not. People think about this as you said the last uh, like the Jim Crow or
Hurrah! I call it the
last.
Empire Striking
You call it
Back.
the last hurrah. For me, I'm like, that's not the last hurrah. It's the regular fucking hurrah. Like
Well,
it's the regular. This is the regular supremacy handbook. It's like put them
it
back in
is,
their place.
but I do want to at least put a asterisk to that. Like, if you pay it, if we really are surveying this process, like there's a group of YT people that are not subscribing to it to the point that it's embarrassing. So the same thing that kind of helped civil rights along
I can see what you're saying.
is helping it along again. And they're doing things in such a brazen and visual way that it's
You
you
can't even defend it. Yeah, you
can't
can't
even
even
right.
like
It's
you
like
to see the YT man turn red. It's just like nah, they don't know
right,
shit. They
right,
don't know nothing about quarterbacks. You know,
right.
for the past 50
Yeah.
years. What's his name? I can't think of his name, but was it Shifter? No, it wasn't Shift. It was
Mache Kuiper.
Kuiper. Kuiper was hated, bro. And it was just, and what's weird, what was interesting about that is to watch a black man try to calm him down, which was disgusting. To watch the black man try to be like, well, Schiff, not like, well, Kipe, you understand, it doesn't matter where he get drafted. It's like, no, this is a top 20 player.
So
This has never happened in the
Yeah.
history of me doing this job.
like it
And
doesn't even make sense.
yeah, you ain't gonna tell me to calm down. Like,
Right.
and that's just the interesting thing, the way that they use us in the media, right? Like the usage of the black, because the day one after after the after the draft, I watched First Take. I was like, I'm gonna watch
Mm,
First Take. I
I
need to
do.
see what these people have to say
Right. Right.
about what's going on here. And for me, it was disappointing to watch Marcus Spears, try to be like, oh, he's not that guy. He's not this. He's not that. And I'm just like, bro.
That's
But
why I ain't watching.
no, I watched it because I got to see
Hey,
these individuals
I'm
that
telling
Stephen
you,
A.
who they
held it
are.
down for him though.
Stephen A. did hold it down.
I'm gonna just say this: that when we say, because I remember that clip of the young lady, I can't think of the therapist's name. They're talking about she's tired of hearing protect your peace and
Yeah.
boundaries.
Yeah, no, I love her. Not she
But this
cooking right now, boy.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, to me, this is the moments that she's speaking about in which you actually do it. Like when you blatantly see things that completely just are beyond explanation. Watching someone try to explain it is pure gaslighting, to use the phrase that we were talking about last episode. Because you just like you're full of shit.
Yeah.
You're full of shit, and you're throwing your shit in my face, and that enrages. That's why I could not watch any opinion show about it, because how I told you how I felt at the top of the session. I'm at the top of the session, at the top of the podcast. That has been brewing for a while, and the more ignorant stuff I see, the worse it gets. So I'm trying to meter my intake. I'm trying to protect my sanity. And while sports is not really important in the grand scheme of things, it is an outlet. It is a place that you used to be able to go and cheer and burn off a lot of steam and fellowship and commune with people, or even commiserate with people about the opposing team and stuff that's happening with your team. And now that's even been, it feels fake to me now.
It's cheapened.
It's cheapened it.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, and that's what the white tea supremacy does. It's like people see it for what it is. And like, if you look at what's happening with Shannon Sharpe, for example.
We'll get there in a second. We're gonna get to that. Wait. I gotta pause it.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves yet.
Not yet.
We're gonna get to Shannon. We're gonna get to Shannon.
Because I have to say something in regards to the young brother Shedeur.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I apologize. I didn't need to jump to it, but I'm gonna hold my mule.
Yeah, hold your mule with Shannon, please.
I will table my thoughts and pass it to you, my brother Warren.
Okay. All right. So to the woman that said, hey, she listens to the podcast about raising her son, how Shedeur carried himself on draft night, the speech he gave, like, you can tell the young man has been raised right. To still in a disappointing moment, to hold himself as a leader to those who are there, who are ready to celebrate with him, to let him know, like, hey, I'm okay and we gonna be okay. We know it's some fugazi going on, but at the same time, we not even worried about that, because I know me, like, I've been groomed for this. I can overcome these moments, and whoever I'm playing for, they gonna see. Now, they did the thing on Friday night, but even then, when he got drafted, shout out to Shiloh for celebrating with his brother about them going into the NFL. Yeah, the situation ain't what we wanted, but hell, we said we get into the NFL. We got there. It ain't happened how we thought it was. Going back to my feeling of the day, content. We in this motherfucker. All right. So to anybody who doubted us, to them liars, aka the Giants out there telling stories on Shedeur, because hey, when a lot of people will do this, when they do fuck shit, that ain't no real reasoning behind what they're doing, that they start telling lies. When the hate don't work, they start telling lies. And that's what happened in this situation. So you're going to hear a lot more lies from other franchises. Don't let Shedeur ball out. You're going to hear, well, he didn't seem like he was this, that, all that X, Y, Z.
First of all, the Giants is the same team that let go of Saquon Barkley and said it's not like he's going to win the Super Bowl. And then the next year, he won the Super Bowl.
The Giants are trash right now.
And they're garbage. And they should have fired everybody in that back office, because Saquon should have been paid. But it is what it is. I want to switch gears just a little bit on this topic before we move on and talk about what Mikhail's holding over there. There's also the conversation in the comparison to what happened with Shedeur and what happened to Eli Manning, right? Because Archie Manning up front was like, Eli's not going to the Chargers,
right?
I could be mistaken, but I believe he was an NFL exec at that point too. Like I think Archie Manning he was a part of the club, and he was like, nah, he ain't going there, and and even Eli was on television, like, yeah, I mean, the Chargers gonna have to do something. I don't know what they're gonna have to do, but like
Before they drafted him, by the way,
before they
guys.
Right.
drafted him,
Before
by
they
the way,
drafted him.
yeah. Cause I had to cause at first I was just like, oh, Prime should have played it better, yada yada yada. But then I had to go research. I'm just gonna be honest because the way I feel about it, I was like, they were mad about how Prime was just like, there's certain teams he don't want his son to go to, or yada yada yada. But I it did lead me to say to think about it and just say, you know what, the game has always been the game, and the game has always been different for us for the longest.
Yep.
And so, in knowing that, I did think about it. Like I thought about it two ways. I was like, man, damn, like I know him as a father. He's principled. He's raised his son right. He even him being active in his son's life to the degree that he is, and you got to think about who you're talking about here. This is a man who, won custody of his children, fought for custody of his children, has been in front row center for all of his kids, his daughters, his
One
sons,
time.
lives, you know, and even when the lady was lying on him and trying to take him for everything and do all of this, for him it was all about his children. And so I'm not going to use this as a moment to say that he could have played it better, because the way he played it is the way he played it because of who he is. But at the same time, I wanted to kind of just, put some levity on it and just kind of ask you guys, has there ever been a time where you knew that, they were treating the other folks a little different from you, and you had to play the game to kind of, get what you want? You know what I'm saying? Like, and what that looked like.
You mean code switching?
Not code switching, because code switching is just a particular way you act for a particular game. For me, it was more so like navigated the waters to eventually get what you need. You get what I'm saying? Because Prime is Prime. He could have done. He could have navigated the waters differently in the same space. He ain't got a code switch.
Yeah.
Prime never been one of those to code switch. But he could have played the chips differently. He could have waited till Shedeur was drafted and demanded a trade,
Yeah.
or wait. There's ways that he could have done it in a way that they didn't see him coming. You get what I'm
But see,
saying?
that would make him inauthentic, and that
That
would
no,
be,
I get it.
yeah.
I get it.
I can tell you that I suffered a little bit of Prime's confidence, and some may even say narcissism, in one space in my life where I was getting feedback from people from the other community that I may have been a little too arrogant, but I had the numbers, and this was in corporate America in sales, and it what I found was really interesting, that it was also consistent, is the amount of hate that I received from some people in our own community that was in it, like, which is, now that you're making me think about it, you know, I think some of the posts I saw on Facebook it's coming from us,
Oh,
you
about
know,
this situation
yeah,
was just
about
like,
it.
bro,
Yeah.
what
The fuck are you
what the
talking
fuck are you
about?
talking about?
Right. So not that dissimilar from when old buddy was trying to calm buddy down. Like, I think, yeah, I can see that this is probably something that's more. It's definitely cultural, and it is steeped in the supremacy concept. Like, yeah, I was told I was too arrogant, and I
How'd
was
you
like,
navigate? Did you navigate that
no,
differently
I
though?
did it just like Prime. I was like, fuck you. I don't give a fuck what you think. I was like, I was a guy that was more. I was definitely an asshole. I was definitely in that mode. But that was
Yeah,
when I was a little bit more mean spirited. I didn't believe in therapy. I thought therapy was some bullshit. That cost money that I ain't have. Like all the typical tropes that you hear uh, before you actually go to therapy and do the work. You be like, damn, I should have did therapy a long time ago.
yeah.
Like, that's who I was, and to some degree, it worked in my favor, but it also worked against me the way it did for Prime.
Yeah.
Because when the time came for layoffs, who they try to, you know, and I saw it happen not just to me, but to other confident black people that were on the success path. There was a rep that
Yeah.
she was like the top rep, and she had just landed this tremendous deal. Like it was almost I want to say a 9-figure deal with I don't want to mention the companies, but you know, they're part of the mobile system that we know today.
Yeah, it's one of the
That's the
big
best way I
big
can do it.
dogs. Yeah, big
Huge
dog.
server farm. I
Crazy.
mean, just crazy deal. She landed the deal, and before the quarter ended, they laid her off,
Mm.
so they didn't have to pay her commission.
Her commission on that
Oh,
big
boy, that's
ass
foul
deal.
right there.
While at the same
Crazy.
time, I've seen them pay commissions to people that don't do shit, and it I was so infuriated, and I let people know. Now, was that the nail in my coffin? Probably.
Possibly.
You know,
Possibly. Cause when they out here slaughtering folks, they ain't gonna leave no witnesses.
right, and I was definitely a witness to it, and I
Mm-hmm.
and I just personally feel like that's part of what the problem is that oh, I'm about to go into something else. The problem is that we assimilate. That's our problem.
Well,
We want to assimilate, and
Mm-hmm.
and what I mean by want to, nobody wants to be an outlier in society. We all want to be successful. We think that this is what success is, and we try to copy that model. But in copying that model, I feel like we give up something.
You
um,
know, go
oh,
ahead, Warren.
because I was going to answer the question you had put to us.
Go ahead, answer the question.
Um,
But I'm coming back to
yeah,
that assimilation,
uh,
Mikael.
Okay.
I was going to say when it comes to the corporate structure, I ain't never really had those problems because I look at it from like a sports. I've always viewed sports like okay, I'm a diehard Kobe fan. I remember Kobe when he won with Shaq versus when Shaq left. And Kobe, how things changed when Kobe started trusting his teammates or just highlighting his teammates. Or I would look at Tom Brady in reviews when you knew like his wide receivers were trash, but he would talk about them in the highest light, like, oh, I couldn't do it without him. Like, I need this specific guy, I need that specific guy. And they really didn't murder Tom like that. Versus I've seen
Mhm.
other quarterbacks, you know, white and black be, oh yeah, I'm that guy, whatever, and they kill him. So I always kept that with me when I moved into corporate. And there's two jobs to whereas I know they let me go probably 3 or 4 months after when I should have been fired. And these were planned out firings just because I played the game. Like at one of these companies, I was the top employee for a good, year. Every time I got an award, the first thing I say, oh, nah, this isn't me. Like, this is my team. This is management. I never would have been able to do it without these guys. Like, them motherfuckers ain't help me with shit, but maybe my manager did. But as far as the team, they ain't do shit. But at the same
Mhm.
time, it's like, I know if I get out here and start saying, like, oh, yeah, I did this X, Y, and Z, now I know I got the target on my back because as we just seen with Shedeur, they hate a confident black man, especially when you in their spaces. And I knew I wasn't at that point yet to whereas I could call my shots. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if I wanted to follow that corporate structure, I would have got to a point where I'm going to call a little bit more shots. But I mean, at the
Mm.
same time, I always knew I'm in their world. So it's like,
Yeah.
I'm the outcast. I'm the outsider. So when you say the thing about assimilate, it's like, yeah, when I'm in their space to get what they got in this area of life, yeah, I'm gonna do what I got to do. But I mean, we've had
And Warren
conversations.
believes in code switching too, by the
Yeah.
way.
Oh, I'm one of the best
Oh
at
no,
it.
no,
I
listen.
am one of the. I'm one of the. Hey, I'm one of the goats when it comes to. Well, I ain't gonna say I'm the best, but I'm on the Mount Rushmore, and I take pride in it. But, but at the same time, but if you see me outside of work with my family friends, hey, you not getting the same version you get when I'm in their world, and you can say, hey, we
Mhm.
gonna keep it real all the time. No, the fuck I'm not. Not when I'm in the corporate setting. But if I'm at the house, I'm with friends, I'm with family. There's no fakeness that comes to me there. in that corporate world, hey, a bunch of them snakes. So guess what? I'm fucking King Cobra in that world. So it is what it is.
I mean, and the thing about that is that I don't necessarily disagree or agree with the simulation. There's just, I mean, that not the simulation, but the code switching or whatever case may be. We all have different styles. But looking into what you were saying, Mikhail, I mean, one, Warren was talking about Shedeur's confidence. I feel like Shedeur's confidence is what I call trickle down confidence. It comes
Oh
from
yeah,
his daddy, and it goes through him. You can
he
feel the
said that.
confidence of his father come through him, and the problem with that
And
is,
shallow.
and yeah, all of his children, Junior,
Yeah.
Shiloh, Shedeur, his daughters.
Yeah.
You can just feel the trickle down confidence come through him. He's done a tremendous job. Um, the issue to me is actually not necessarily about Shedeur assimilating, but the idea from my perspective that maybe Coach Prime assimilated a little too much. I think in a way, he forgot that even with all that he's done, all the connections he has, all of the friends that he has, that they still view him a certain way.
Go
You
ahead.
could
He's still a
you
nigga.
you could see the shock on his face during the streams. Like, I can't believe this shit. Like, I know what it is. Like, I know what's going on here. But the reality is, and we all know this, his son has enough talent. And the teams not just want his son. These teams that passed up on his son need his son.
Actually, that like no one.
You get what I'm
But go
saying?
ahead.
Like New
Yeah.
Orleans, like
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, like
All
Oakland,
of
like there's just a lot of teams that need his son. I'm talking about ticket sales. I'm talking like New Orleans. They just set themselves back a decade. I don't care what you say. They set themselves back a decade because they may not get the next quarterback that they want unless it's Arch Manning, and they gotta suck to get him.
Yeah.
But they have to suck to get him. And so, depending on what goes on, they may have set themselves back 4 to 5 years, and they did that to spike themselves, but all because they wanted to remind Dion who he is. Because the thing about with Dion, it's not just Shedeur, it's Jimmy Horn Jr. It's it's all them kids that he recruited that are looking like, hold on, the NFL got something with you. I don't know if this is what I want to be. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
now I got a target on my back. You get what I'm saying? And
Right.
so, we talked about, you use the word narcissism. I won't get into into that. I'm not gonna call him that, but
Just get
you know,
ego.
but we have to speak on the misstep of the ego, and I'm working on and this is not. I want to start by saying this because when I go into this, I don't want this to seem like a conviction of Prime. Prime did everything the way he saw it in his principled space. He's a principled individual. And he saw people do things that they've done. He's been in the industry. He knows how they do things. And he decided to do it that way. That was his decision. And I'm not going to convict him on that. But I also have to, like, for me, it's all about lessons. I think that everybody takes something away from these things. And we know the white supremacy's out there. We know that the system is what it is. We know, and he's been through the system. So who better to show his kid how to get to the NFL than somebody that's been to the NFL, right? That's the way it works. And he also knows the ways that he took are not necessarily what you would consider the traditional ways to get your kid in through the door. And so I asked myself, you know, in what ways do we do that in everyday life? Like, in what ways do we know the game is rigged to? In what ways do we know the referee's not calling fouls and we don't foul? You get what I'm saying? In what world
Mm.
do we know that the rules are being played one way and we decide to, what, I'm still gonna play it however I want to play it, even though they coming up here and doing it, and it's rigged. But when you know it's rigged, you can use that to your benefit. And go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I raise my hand for those who are just listening because this is something that me and my wife have had many conversations about. All right, there are certain things that have happened within our community, and I feel like, and ISO on me, that sometimes we think we white, like like we forget that we're black. I'm sorry, because my wife and I have this thing where she'll be like, "Oh, well, it's it," because I'll say, "Well, it's their country." I'm saying, like, it's the whitest country, and she'll be like, it's the Native Americans' country." And I say to her, "How I grew up, if let's say this block was owned by Jr. and then Quade came over here and took that block. Guess whose block it is now? All right. Guess whose rules we're going by now? We're not going by JR's rules anymore. We're going by Quade's rules. How his block is run, that's how we set up. Now, we can do outlier stuff and whatever, but at the end of the day, how the rules are set up, you got to follow them. Now, we can fight against the rules and hopefully things can change. But at the same time, we got to be willing to deal with whatever consequences come with that. And I feel, and please don't hate me or whatever, y'all can, that I do feel that sometimes we forget, hey, bro, like this ain't our country. They remind us of that consistently. And I think, yes, we've made progressions. We've done very well. Well, I ain't gonna say very well, but we've made a lot of progressions back to what our forefathers, what our ancestors had to deal with. But at the same time, like most of them don't want us here. They remind us of that. So we do have to act in a certain way with certain things. Like shit. This is the example that I'll give, and then I'll go with somebody else. I see how some blacks talk to cops, and I'm like, my boy, like I want you to understand. You not white, you not no white girl, you not no white boy. Like, yeah, you may go to school with them, you may hang with them, but let me remind you, you still black. You not gonna be able to get away what they get away with, talking off, yelling at the cops, doing all this other shit. All right, they may get off with just a fucking warning. They trying to put us in a body bag. They looking for a reason to take us out, whether that's physically, whether that's at the job. So we have to be aware of that at all times. The parents, grandparents in the 60s, 70s, 50s used to remind black people of that. Yo, be on your P's and Q's out here. I think a lot of us have gotten comfortable and lazy with not repeating that message on. Yes, I'm sorry to my Gen Zs and millennials. Motherfuckers, we still got to work twice as hard just to get the potential of having the same opportunity. That shit ain't went away. That I'm done with my soliloquy.
I want to add to that, and this is actually be a good segue into the Shannon Sharpe conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's not, once again, this is not a conviction to what Prime did. But I started reading this book, and I'm already gonna recommend it because I just love the concept of it. And I don't know if y'all have read it yet, but I'm in the middle of it, and it's Jason Williams, The Man the Moment Demands. And
Say it again. Say it again.
it is the man that the moment demands.
The man that the moment demands. Okay.
I
Yes.
like that title.
And the title is what got me. For me, it was, and the premise of it is this: as men, we grow and we have our principles. Like, there's certain aspects of principles that you grow up with. And for instance, people that grow up in the street, they're street principles. You get what I'm saying? But sometimes those street principles are the principles that sometimes end up killing a lot of black men, because you have to stand on street
On those
principles.
principles. Sure.
But the
Yeah.
problem with that is some instances demand you to be a different man, demand that you, even if you have those street principles in you, demand that you pivot, or demand that you use problem solving skills, demand that you use collaboration skills. There's some instances that demand that you be bold and be, aggressive and be, even if you're not that for real, you have to be in certain instances. You have to meet certain, and so he kind of speaks to the fact that when as men we grow up and we get an idea of what it means to be a man and we kind of stick to it. You get what I'm saying? It's just like, okay, these are my principles. I ain't coming off my principles. And I love Dion, and I think that he has his principles. He had his way of doing things, and there's a situation, circumstance, or whatever the case may be, and it demanded for him to be a little different. The Dion that you saw when he was drafted is the Dion that's still here. I'm just being honest with you. And nothing's wrong with either. Nothing's wrong with that. You get what I'm saying? He was shining then, he's shining now. He was the man then, he still views himself as the man now. But there is something to be said about the impact that had. See, you're talking about how his son didn't need the NFL. Dion did need the NFL. And although he was flashy and what he was, they saw him as that. And so he has to understand that his son's flashy and his flashy is not the same flashy. Even though Dion came with them things on, he had the chains on, he was confident, he was like, whatever case may be. But them NFL owners knew he needed the NFL. And and in him being wise, because I know he's wise. I know he knows the backlash that was coming with this. I know he knew his son was gonna get a little, slap here and there because of what happened. I just felt like this moment demanded something different. Not to say he was wrong, but to say that if looking at what happened here, I'm saying would I have played it the same way? I probably would not have. And I just want. Oh, go ahead, Mika.
No, I'm gonna be careful with that because there's some presumption in that Shedeur ended up where he didn't need to be. One of the things that I picked up from Prime, and I know that he rides with, is his faith. And even when things bad or good happens, they see it as for the greater good.
Yeah.
So, in my mind, everybody had a place where they wanted Shedeur, but nobody considered where God wanted Shedeur. So it's like you think about Cleveland as a market, and you think about Shedeur and his brand and what he brings, and how much viewership came to Colorado's games, how much viewership will probably come to the Cleveland Browns games now. How many times? Because that's a smaller market. They're not going to get. They're not. The New York Giants don't deserve, but they are a larger market. Therefore, they command a little bit more conversation, right? A lot of people ain't talking about the Cleveland Browns, but now they will be. The thing of it is that I feel like I take away from this situation is Dion is always going to be able to look at himself in the mirror, and that is his standard. And I think sometimes in society we don't consider whether or not we can look ourselves in the mirror with the things that we turn, either what do you call it, code switching, what do you call it?
Yeah,
Being the moment that
how you navigate, however
how
you
you
decide to
navigate.
navigate. Yeah.
But I try to err on the side of being able to look at myself in the mirror because I got to sit with me 24/7, and I think in my spirit, Shedeur is where everything that has happened needed to happen. For all we know, Cleveland may trade him and may get 5 players for their one. You know what I mean? That they actually needed, the edge players or whatever, to give them a tighter defense. We don't know. At the end of the day, whenever you subject yourself to their system, you're just a piece on the table to be moved. And I think that that's one thing that I've always taken away from, especially after what happened with Kaepernick. This man has been to the Super Bowl and they treated him like he was coming up from straight out of college and was undrafted. So I knew then they didn't care about talent.
Unless you like Patrick Mahomes, boy, they ain't.
Well, it doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter. Like if it hadn't shown you, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I think that, you
Mhm.
know, I agree with you, Mikhail. I feel like he can. I agree. He can see him look himself in the mirror. But if you were to ask him if this is the impact he wanted to have on his son's potential start to his professional career, I'm sure he would probably be like, nah.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, in the
that's kind of
ideal world, I think in the
that.
ideal world, but think about it like this. Think about it like this. Like we have kids, and Warren, you soon will. Like,
I
I
receive
want
it.
you to, I want to understand something. Like, kids come here perfect. It's the parents that fuck them up. And at the end of the day, Prime's the way he moved is not going to impact Shedeur in a way that's going to mess him up. And that's all we can do. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't want to put a lot of burden on the parents that are listening to this podcast. Like to think that you have to literally have the yellow brick road for your children. All you really have to do is maintain protection of them. And I feel like that's what Prime has done. He's protected his sons and daughters throughout their lives into adulthood for as long as he can. He will always be able to look in the mirror. It's the NFL that's the evil monster in this situation. The NFL is the antagonist. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we can't sit there and be like, oh, Prime, da, 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 like this monster ain't over there laughing.
No,
And
no,
and
no, no,
that's what
no,
I'm
no.
saying. Like the monster's gonna monster. That's my point. The monster's gonna monster.
That's not what I'm getting at though.
Okay.
But
No,
even with that,
it's not. It's because the thing about it is, it's not. We understand the monster, bro. Like we live within the monster. You know what I'm saying? We live within that space, and
Mhm.
we navigate the monster.
I
And
receive
so
that.
for me, it's like, you know, he may decide tomorrow he don't want to be in the NFL based on how he was treated. You know,
That's
Shedeur
right.
may decide, you know what, fuck it, because he don't need it, right? Like that's we know that. But what I'm saying is, if indeed he wants it, if indeed that is the desire that your child wants, you you won't be, if you know that this was going to be the outcome. If he wanted to be not with the Browns, I know he ain't gonna say that now because he's a
yeah,
Brown right now. But if he didn't want to be with the Browns, if you know you impacted that in any kind of way, you have to ask yourself, would I have been a different man? Is not a worse man, better man. You can't look yourself in the mirror type of man. It's a, should I have said that?
yeah. Could I
Okay.
have played it better?
Could I
I
have
had a
played
real
it
life
better?
experience. I had a real
You know,
life experience when my daughter was playing basketball. Me and one of her coaches almost got into a fist fight.
Oh, you want to know?
oh man.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not actually. That's the
Okay,
part that's
well,
wild about it because you know me. That's not me.
yeah,
And for me to get that mad, man, you might have said some things, right?
yeah.
And I'm gonna always protect my kids. And as a result of that fight, we didn't let Michaela play ball no more. Now she loves basketball, and my thought was, I'll get you a trainer. When you get to high school, we'll try it again. But middle school is over because that's who you're gonna have that. That's who I'm giving access to. I'm giving that person access to my daughter when they've shown that they don't have respect. Like, is it hurting her that she's missing this playing time? It might be, but
Yeah.
I feel comfortable looking at myself in the mirror because of my principles. Like at some point, this kind of goes back to the simulation thing. At some point, we need to just really assess what are your principles? What are you going to stand on? Because as long as you stand on your principles, the sun's going to shine tomorrow. The sun came up. Every day that Shedeur didn't get picked in the draft, the sun came up.
Yeah.
No,
Like
it's
the
true.
world's going to keep. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
I don't think he's
what
gonna
do
see
we,
it as. I don't think he's gonna see it as like he did something to the detriment of his son. But I think that, and this is there's more than one right way to do something.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
you can spin it. Yeah, it's
and
different. Like
and
more than one
and,
way
and from
to
my
spin it.
perspective, even within his principles, I always tell people shutting up is free. You get what I'm saying? Like you don't have to say nothing. You get what I'm saying? Like you don't have to say anything. Like even if his plans were his plans, I'm just saying that when we talk about when I'm talking about the man, the moment demands, is not to say that he would have compromised any of his principles. Is
Okay.
to say that, when we talk about discretion, it's like the reason you operate in a discreet manner is sometimes you don't let the left hand know what your right hand doing.
Yeah.
There's an idea that sometimes it's okay to just be quiet. And in some spaces, I felt as if, like, and this is not Dion. This is just men making decisions. We're
Mm-hmm.
talking about when it comes to dealing with making decisions. Sometimes we have to really take a step back and say, what type of man do I need to be to make this decision? Now, that being said, we made our points clear. We got to ask ourselves, what the hell was Shannon Sharpe thinking?
Did not.
Making the decisions that he made.
I'm just gonna
Exactly.
say this.
Let's get into
Oh,
that, man.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say this. All right, and this is Warren's opinion. This may not be the opinions of my fellow brothers on the You Good broadcast. I'm just gonna put it to you like this. Hey, if you want to play in the snow, you better be willing to deal when the blizzard comes. That's all. Because the thing is, now the blizzard don't come all the time, but the blizzard is going to come for a good number of you. So hey, play in the snow all you want. Me and Dr. Umar got similar feelings about that particular topic. So you can use your imagination to put two and two together there. But hey, you want to play in the snow, be willing to deal with the blizzard as well. I'll
Uh,
pass it to
uh,
you guys.
okay, for those who don't know, Shannon Sharpe recently was sued in civil court for $50 million, claiming to have had improper sexual relations with a young um, Caucasian looking woman. I'm not sure if her ethnicity is this she cause
If
she
she
looks.
got
I think
pulled
she
over by the cops, they would assume she's
they would
white. So
assume
we just
she
gonna
was
leave it there.
white. I don't know. I think her last name is like, it sounds like, Latin or something. But what I'm
No, it's
saying
Italian.
yeah, it just sounds like another, but it's white. And he's 53
Mm-mm.
and she's
Eight.
54. Huh?
Yeah,
He's like
Yeah,
58.
58. Okay. And
over the age of
58,
55.
he's over the age of 50. And this young lady is 23 years old. Um Apparently it seems as if they had some type of weird, like, you know, kinky type of relationship
They had
where
an active sexual
where yeah, they
relationship.
have an active sexual life where uh it seems as if bondage and control is a part of their
Told him
MO.
she wanted to have his big black babies.
Oh
He
my
look
god.
after seeing
Okay.
that, he probably wanted, and there's some of you niggas out here that I just got. I'm sorry,
Warren, Warren,
I saw
Warren,
me. Nah, you
Warren,
niggas out here who letting white women call y'all
Warren,
niggas while y'all
Warren,
fucking, y'all some
Warren.
hoes. I just want you to know. I'm sorry.
Hey yo, look,
I
look.
said it, not them
No,
two.
no,
I said
no,
that.
bruh. No, you don't. I don't disagree with you, bruh. But it's the funny thing about it is that is that for me, that's the biggest. Like, when I saw those text messages come out, and the fact that he put them out himself, he put out text messages with this young lady basically telling him, he gonna have to pay 25K per cheek. By cheek, I mean butt cheek. and and that she wants some of that black baby gravy. Black
Mhm.
baby gravy.
Yeah.
A 58, 54, 50 whatever
Yeah,
year old
56.
man,
56 about to be
50,
57.
56-year-old black man is letting a 23-year-old Caucasian woman text him that she want that black baby gravy. And and I guess this is what gets him off. This is what I'm not going. When we talk about the man, the moment demands. What type of man? Like it's
Y'all niggas some coons.
bruh, it's when you start to see stuff like this, because he said certain things, and there's some things I do want to address. Because I'm at this point, you know what, Warren, you got me heat. I want to cook too. Shit, I want to goddamn cook too.
Pass the ball to Sam.
At some point, we have to address the inappropriate behavior by black men with money. And I'm not saying, I understand there was Hugh Hefner and there's this and there's that and that. I understand that, but that ain't
We
what I'm
don't care
talking about.
them. That ain't our
I don't
business.
really give a fuck about what they had going on. I really, 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 because the thing about it is they don't have the same plight that we have. You get what I'm saying? Since Emmett Till, playing like that, playing like Shannon Sharpe is playing, has been to the detriment of black men, black families, and black society. So many people have been killed, burned, and 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 families been hurt because men like him cannot just stay away from people that don't mean them any good. They get their money. They get their money from playing around, from the black community supporting them, and then they go out here and they fuck it off, literally. They fuck it off, literally, because they feel, I don't know, it's mostly a feeling of inadequacy that they have within them that makes them go out here and do this stupid shit.
Coon shit.
Because it's inappropriate. It's like we got to start calling things inappropriate. He was on every show that he did, he had Cat Williams, he had Monique, he had on Ocho Cinco. You need to date somebody your age.
Yeah.
Monique said, you need you 50 something. You need a woman that
can
have
cook.
your drink, that can cook, can take care of you, and then you
At
turn
least
around.
In the 30s.
At least. It's just crazy that some
it's crazy that
say
we had to have this conversation.
That we have to talk about this.
Yeah. I get you. 1,000%. Like, I'm just thinking about the fact that this happened when she was 19 and he was 52.
Jesus Christ. I didn't even think about
he a creep squad.
When it started, bro.
Squad.
Yeah. So that I think I stop and start.
I didn't even think
That's
about
my stop
when
and
it
start.
began.
Yeah. I stop and start there. He scoped, what I understand, he scoped her out at the gym. And I mean, she was down, but what is going on in your life that this is your option, your choice? When you somebody like he is, you have options.
You got all the options.
Why
and
was
you don't
this
have to pay for it.
all
You
the
don't
options?
have to pay for it.
Right. Why was this your choice? I just don't I can't understand it. And more importantly, to your point, from our community, I guess, I'm trying to think of the psychology of somebody that would sit there and be like, you know what, this is cool. And she white. So I ain't gotta worry about nobody's daddy coming after me, because maybe this is normal in their community. Bruh. This may be something that is, at least it seems normal, because if you look at the successful actors that marry these young girls, like it seems common in some spaces. You know what I mean? And it just, maybe that's what, and so that goes back to what I was talking about, assimilation. Like I done made it. I'm on TV. I'm a star.
And you think you one of them.
And you think you one of them.
And you ain't nothing but a lick.
When that blizzard comes, you will get no sympathy or empathy from me. There is enough history that it showed you, hey, you think you better than the Emmett Tills who did nothing. You think you better than the other. Oh, it can't happen to you. You've seen scenario after scenario. So when the blizzard comes, hey,
Well,
you got
I
to deal
think
with it.
because the thing is, I'm not even talking about I'm not even thinking, or I'm not saying I'm not thinking about it, but the concept of the civil suit, the things that have been alleged, the text messaging, the audio messaging that's been released, all of that stuff is inconsequential to me because I'm still stuck on the fact that at 52, he picked up a 19-year-old
19-year-old.
that in essence, the way she says it, she, she knew who he was. She exchanged information. He was like, she had turned him down the first time he approached her at the gym, and he just kept at it. And eventually, he broke the ice. Back to Warren's metaphor, he kind of broke through the ice, and they started their experience.
Look,
I'm stuck on.
I gotta try that one on this. I gotta try this one on this one. You said he broke the ice, man. He broke
Yeah,
the ice.
go ahead.
Now listen, that's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that.
And
Yeah, we get into it.
I still love y'all. That's what y'all choose to do. But just know, in that aspect, there will be no sympathy from me. And
No,
I never want to hear y'all talk about black love. All
no,
right.
no.
No.
Let me say this. My challenge is that that's not okay. My challenge is that it doesn't, for that to go on for 2 years. So I get a one night stand, or I get, you may not have known how old somebody was. I mean, I dated somebody that was 10 years younger than me, but I didn't know it. Like when we first started dating, like it was like,
Yeah.
and then when I found out how old she was, I tried to. Well, she was 9 years younger than me. When I tried to break it off from her, she made me feel stupid by telling me that her actual parents had a larger window of being a part of it. And am I saying that her parents ain't shit? Am I like I was like, God damn, I just dogged her parents out. I felt fucked up. And then I had to check myself, and I was like, okay, all right, we can go out. But that was still within reach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
My,
saying? Like this,
but
40 years,
bro, how do you
30
even
years
like
difference.
what is the conversation like? I mean, we I guess we got a glimpse of it, but like
Yeah.
the, it just sounds like somebody grandmama talking to somebody like okay, what? Okay, what?
Okay, well now,
No, oh,
I might choke.
I might choke you in public. What you
Yeah.
think about that? Like, nigga, you stupid.
That shit's crazy, bro. Like my niece 19, bro. Like I can't even look at girls around that age
Zero.
anymore, dog.
Zero.
Like, bro, like
But
don't
The
look.
most you get out of me is that she's beautiful. That's it. Like I can
that
recognize
She's a
that you
pretty
are a
young lady.
beautiful girl. You're
that
pretty.
that's
That's
it,
it.
bro. It's
I
it
got a
is
niece I might introduce you to. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't process this
no,
as a vessel for sexual escapades.
yeah,
And the fact that he did, because I do this thing with, especially with my clients that suffer addiction. I talk to them about the clocks that govern our lives, and there's like the biological clock. You're born 0 to whenever you expire. Like that clock works consistently. It doesn't break, right? Then you have a social clock, and the social clock is the one where we say, oh, at 2 years old, you should be able to talk and walk and all this other stuff, right? And when you're not doing those things, we got to get you tested because something's wrong. We're judging your life based on the social clock. The third clock is the emotional clock. The emotional clock should line up with your biological clock. But what happens, we have these core memories or traumas that cause arrested development in the emotional clock. The fact that this man at 50 saw somebody that had just bridged over to being an adult legally as an option for him, and he's a millionaire. What is going on? The biological and social clock should have said something. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, what is going on with him emotionally? How about this? What is going on with him emotionally that he will let Skip Bayless talk shit in his face
Jesus Christ, and not do something
That
about it.
was business. So I'm gonna let that one slide. Like, that was business.
but that goes back to my assimilation. He didn't want to lose his space, right? He knew if he popped back off the wrong kind of way, chances are he'd be off the show, off ESPN. That's assimilation. I'm gonna just go along to get along. Right, but to your point, but I'm talking about business is business, right? Where's the principle in that? And I'm saying that at the same time, he thought because I'm up here with them, I can do what they do, and society will still accept me. He forgot that he was black, because in the black community, we like, you a pedophile. You just got caught after they were old enough. Like, if you thought this young girl looked good and you in your 50s and she 19, what were you doing in your 20s? I mean, in your 30s, in your 40s, when you were just coming out the league. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to assess, back to what Brother Wilson was saying from what you were telling about the book, is that you got to be principled at first. You got to have principles at first that you live and die on that hill about. And then after that, you go into the business world. Remember that the business world is the antagonist. Stop hooking up everything you have to the business world. Because if not, as soon as you hook yourself up to it, you start to believe that you're part of it. And if you believe you're part of it, you start doing the shit that they do that we don't like. And that's what we're witnessing right now.
Oh,
and
right.
It's indefensible.
It's indefensible. And like Warren said, I will say this. I hope that Mr. Sharpe, I want to go on record and say this, because there are instances that these type of things come out, and I'm just like, it's just a money, people, it's just a money grab. It's just that. And for me, so fucking what? Eventually we need an example. Sometimes you need the person needs to be made an example out of. And you know what? A 58-year-old man, you've lived enough life. 20 years old,
better.
19 years old, 17 years old. You know better. You don't know better. It's life. You're just figuring it out. 58, bro. Now it's time for you to learn the hard way. And you're not gonna, like you said, no sympathy for me. I wish him all kinds of payments. You decided to be 60 to be paying for pussy. You need to pay for it all the way into the grave, my nigga.
Just do it.
I hope this is a reminder and lesson to the young boys.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna hit you in the head with this. I'm gonna hit you in the head. Please let me hit you with this.
Go.
We live in a society that a 19-year-old white woman would find this man suitable to smash for 2 years. Think about what I'm saying to you. It might be the money. It might be the money. It might be the money. But I'm gonna go further. Think about the text messages that she sent. See, people forget black men are fetishized by that community. How many conversations has she had with her girlfriends about that? Like, we in a society, we are helping to fulfill their sick dreams. And I'm saying sick in a non-judgmental way. But in the context of this is kind of sick to me. Like, I don't think I've ever, like, let's see. I'm trying to think. No.
While he's thinking, I'm gonna say something real quick.
No, I'm saying this. Hold on, that's my point. Like, that's my point. I'm trying to think. I'm like, I've never been with a white woman, and I found some attractive, but I never said to myself,
I need to get a card.
Let me say, I never said what. I never said to myself, man, I can't wait to get some of that white pussy. Like, that's just never been.
Oh my God.
Right.
Hey, look.
I've never thought like that. So it's hard for me to process the whole equation, not just with Shannon, but also with her. That's what I'm saying. Like, and then
For
this
for for
society,
those,
this world that we live in, is what I'm trying to put on stage right now. Like, I don't know.
That's hilarious, bro.
It
look,
is, but we need help.
No,
hey,
there needs to be some assistance, man, because this is foolish. It's foolish.
I mean, when I say this,
uh,
Kobe Bryant is my favorite player of all time. The Eagle Colorado incident happened when I was 15, 16. That was my lesson into, hey, you know what? I'll stay away from those parts because if that can happen to him,
oh yeah, it's
Oh
different.
yeah,
that can happen
yeah.
to anybody.
What
So,
you?
no,
See you, and this is my last point on this. One thing we've talked about a couple things today, and both things there's a system at play. And I'm not trying to blame a system for Shannon because he's a
no, he just
grown man
stupid.
and he knows the system is at play.
Well,
But for me,
he's a victim of it.
I won't call him a victim. He's a participant in it
Well,
at this point. But
let's be clear. Hold on, Sam. Don't do that because the stuff that we deal with the fact that this system is a, a prison pipeline system. He went through the same education process as all these other kids. He just happened to have a brother that got into the NFL. He played football. Therefore, he got a entry to the NFL from Savannah
mm-hmm,
State. I mean, he is a product of the system. So
agreed.
at what point does it say that his principles are not aligned with the system that created it? Like, we're holding him accountable, but my hold accountable was more about you black, don't you?
Or
Like,
does he? Or does he?
I would
Because that
hope.
because the
He
thing
could be
about it is,
OJ.
and this is actually the part of it. I mean, I'm not going to draw similarities, but I'm going to be real about this.
Go ahead.
See, the problem with niggas with money is that they think that they not niggas.
Mm,
And they're only niggas when it's convenient. And
Mm,
that's the reality of the, and I'm not talking about majority. I'm not trying to paint it with a wide brush, but
yeah,
niggas like him don't think he's a nigga until he's put in a nigga's
convenient
place.
black is what I
You
call
get
him.
what I'm saying? Yes, it's about convenience.
convenient, but
It's about convenience. And so we gotta stop pretending like, because the thing about it is that you let's just be real about it. He get money and it's like black women ain't good enough to get in a relationship with, but they good enough to fuck. Oh, I spread big the time between 10 and 2. I do this, I do that, do this, do this. But you got into a relationship with a 19-year-old little girl. This is a relationship. She moved
yeah,
with you.
right. 2 years.
She moved
They
with
in
you.
photos together.
You get what I'm saying? Like, and that is what when Young Miami asked him, "Do you got a girlfriend?" He went quiet.
That's true.
Mm,
He didn't have an answer for her.
Should have
Why?
told
mm,
him
Because
in Miami. She
he
would
got
have
a
kept G.
22-year-old at the house. You
That
get what
he
I'm
didn't want to
saying?
argue with or deal
That-
with.
I don't even know if you're gonna call it building, but whatever he doing it, and that's because he feels he insulated. He
mm.
feels insulated from the fact that he got some money, he got some bread. And there's too many niggas out there like that. The money does not absolve you from the system. Because guess what? These people in the system have taught their 19-year-old daughters to go get that bag, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
You think you're smarter than them, but they're ingrained. You see pictures and videos, not to get too deep, of these kids, and they 8 years old and they writing the word nigger. My kids don't know how to spell nigger.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Yep.
And so they're taught to go out there and take your money. They taught to go
And
out there,
exploit.
yeah, and exploit you. They go sit with an attorney and say, "What do you need?"
Watch Sinners.
You get what I'm saying? Like, what do you need so I can get that bag? Because for the attorney, it's all about the bag too.
Because that's how they
It's,
pay their bills.
exactly. And so that he thought he was exempt. Nah, nigga, you're getting your black card. It was revoked. It's being unrevoked, nigga. Pay up, Shannon. Shay. Pay the fuck up.
Please watch the movie Sinners for those of you
Oh
listening. No,
man.
this isn't an ad, but
No, this is
please
good.
watch the movie.
This is
It's
a good way
consistent.
to
It's
end it. This
consistent with what we're
consistent.
talking about.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is a good way to end this one, right? I like that. I mean, we talked about everything. We ain't talked about that, and I think it deserves its own space. But I will say, Sinners is probably one of the most thought provoking movies that I've watched in probably the last
Prolific.
5 to 10 years. It
Prolific.
it is one of the best. It has one of the best scenes in a movie that I've ever seen in my life.
Say that part again.
It has one of the best scenes in a movie that I've ever seen in my entire life. As a music lover, as a as someone
I
who
like
really deeply feels about, the essence of our ancestors and the way that we express ourselves, to see that played out in a visual way for me, bro. I was in the movie. It's a horror movie, but I had tears. I was like,
And you know what?
oh
I'm gonna
my
take it
god.
back. I heard the best description. It's not. I heard it today. I think it was on Karen Hunter, and they
Mhm.
said it's not a horror movie. It's just horrific.
Mhm.
And I had to sit with that. And I feel like we're about to talk about it. I watched a interview with Ryan Coogler, and he was with this very astute uh, interviewer, and she brought up Marxism and him being from Oakland, and he was just like blown away from it. And she made the point of saying, the racial construct of this is that and I feel like I'm not telling a spoiler. It's been out for almost 3 weeks.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
Spoiler
they
Fast
alert.
forward a minute.
they were in a space where they were having a good time and life was great and everything was fine until they tried to accept white people's money and everything went to hell. Now this is the interviewer,
And you know what's crazy? I know that probably wasn't something that he even thought about.
but this oh
Mm,
he
I
said
think he thought.
he definitely he was like he said I rock with that. He says, but to be honest with you, everybody was already dead.
mm.
And he said when they bought the sawmill, that put everybody was gonna be dead by morning
Oh yeah, because
because the
Yeah,
plan
because the
because of the
plan was
plan.
coming.
He said
Oh,
everybody was already dead. He said the fact
Mm.
that they did business with this man put
yeah,
that in it wasn't just white money at Remick not at
yeah.
him, but
yeah.
just throughout. Like anytime
The
you've
minute
connected yourself
they connected themselves, oh my god.
I didn't even think about that.
on the float
Yeah,
on and it was just that was
because he
probably
asks, "Yo, what's this?" Yeah,
Yeah,
the floor was clean.
yeah.
yeah.
You understand? And I was just like, holy shit. Like it's so that's what I meant by prolific thinking. Like it just makes you sit there and go through cycles. Like I saw one interview today, were like, well, did you notice that, one of them wore red, the other one wore blue. The
Mm-hmm.
red represented the evil, the blue represented the angel or God. One was trying to get away and be legitimized while the other one was trying to come up. He went, because
Yeah,
he was the
Yeah,
one
he just
complaining about
yeah,
the wood
yeah,
money and shit. He's like, what the
yeah,
fuck
yeah,
is this shit? You
yeah.
know, like it
Yeah,
was just
he's just like, yeah, well, no, we're not taking this. We want real money. But it's like the
right.
reality of it is, it's like, look, and even the messaging and when that
Oof.
happened, it was just like, damn, like it's deep.
You
It
can't put it down.
it,
Once you
it can't.
start going down the hole and
yeah.
start picking it apart, it's just, and to know where he got the source material from, and to know, it was just, to me, when I hear people say, "Huh, I didn't really think it was all that," it says that's telling me you dumb.
You
That's
know,
that's telling me you ain't you
I
don't think you
I have
react.
to say it this way. And this is where I'm gonna put my OVO jacket back on.
Oh
Oh,
Lord.
we back up, by the way. I just want motherfuckers to know we back up after that weak ass Super Bowl performance.
No,
And
no,
I'll
y'all
go into
not.
this.
Y'all
I'll
not.
go into this.
Y'all
The
not.
difference between what Mr. Coogler did and Kendrick's performance was, hey, Coogler was able to create a cinematic masterpiece, but not get too deep, but also still be entertaining. And that was the difference between the synopsis. So some people may not just like, because like my wife, she's not into vampire movies. She respected, the arts and everything of that nature. But if you're just looking at a movie, not really having a deep thought process of with it, you may be like, oh, okay, it's straight. I can get that perspective because I've seen other, black movies that are very informational, uplifting. But if you just looking at it as just a movie, like, hey, bro, I mean, you learned a lot, but this shit is trash. I mean, you can go to an African American studies class and learn the same information, but based on who's teaching it, you may get a different messaging, or one may be more entertaining than the other. They're both giving the same information, but one may be more inspirational, or one may be more outgoing. They're teaching
This
their
person
lesson.
said there wasn't enough action scenes.
I mean, I can agree with that. Like, I mean, if they going into the movie expecting that, then I can.
How do you expect anything? How do you go into a movie that is completely off of the man's
No,
mind?
I guess you. I
I'm
mean,
saying
I
that.
didn't. I
So
didn't
let
think
me
it was
be
going to be a
clear.
vampire movie before I walked in. Like,
Well,
I didn't know
let's
that.
be clear. Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, it's like, I don't like to go into situations, one, with expectations, and
No, I get you.
two, blindly. Like, I'm gonna see what is it I'm about to watch. Oh, this is this. All right, I see twins. I watched a couple of interviews. I didn't do anything that was spoiler related. So I knew who was gonna be in the movie. I knew there was gonna be some singing in it. I knew it was some blues.
I didn't know that
But
either.
if you know me, you know I'm gonna support a black movie. Period. I'm gonna go
Okay,
see
that's why we went.
it. And understand what I'm saying? So when I go in that spirit to support the black movie, what I'm not gonna do is come out of that same black movie and go on the social media and sit there and dog that black movie.
Nah, I'm 100% with you right there.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, to me, if you went in that movie just to come out to say blah blah blah, like, there was one that was intelligent. This girl said, I love horror movies. And it just didn't meet
Yeah.
my standard. It wasn't as
It
bloody
wasn't,
as
and not just that. It
Yeah.
wasn't to the stand. It wasn't for that.
yeah,
That
it wasn't.
Yeah.
That's not what the basis of it. I likened it to.
That's why I like the horrific thing that you said, because it is more horrific than it
Then
is.
right. So it's more
horror.
the message is what's there. Like,
Yeah.
to me, one of the big TV shows in the last decade was the Walking Dead. And people used to be like, why you like that show? It's a bunch of zombies. I was like, the zombies are just like the trees. It's not even
Yeah.
really, they're
Yeah,
not part of the story. They're not even the story. And that's how I saw this. Like, it was the fact that you had remnants of old. So this particular vampire is supposed to be 600 years old. America at the time was 200 some odd years old, through 2 some years old, 1932. And
Still, spoiler alert.
no,
No,
it's just,
bro, I mean, at this point, we talking. Yeah.
we talking. And so at this point, we got black people coming out of slavery. Now they're in Jim Crow. They still sharecropping. The cotton is still king. And the only place that they're able to find a release and joy is this juke joint that they're creating. Well, it, to me, gave you a pure picture of what life was like, all the way down to the Chinese stores.
Yeah.
Like,
bruh.
You understand what I'm saying? Like,
I have to do this, man. I think that this is the most beautiful part about all of this is the research.
The level.
the level of detail, because I actually went online looking for these Chinese
Yeah,
folks.
I needed to know.
And I went on YouTube. I don't know if y'all have seen, bro. There's videos of Chinese folks that look as Chinese as Jackie Chan,
But talk is country as
and they
boss
talk
hog.
as country. I was like, yo, what the fuck?
I closed my eyes,
It's a mind fuck.
and I was
Like,
like,
my kids heard it. They was just like, that's not a Chinese person. I was like, yeah, it is.
"Yes, it is."
But it speaks to the level and the depth of where he went. And I get what you trying to do, Warren, with kind of making it about Kendrick. And speaking about the deepness and what people like that ain't deep and not whatever the case may
Wasn't
be.
entertaining. Yeah, go ahead.
But I mean, that's a Super Bowl performance.
Who's
Not
calling
Like
my
Us
phone?
was very entertaining.
Honestly,
But-
to be fair, Kendrick's performance was something that's supposed to be karaoke-esque, where you stand up and sing. Like when you saw the videos come out of Super Bowl parties, everybody at the Super Bowl party was rapping along with him. It really wasn't. I wasn't expecting
What
to see
songs?
the ones I saw, all of
That
them.
wasn't Not Like Us. Shout out to Drake, by the way. Free
No,
promotion.
turn the TV off.
Yeah, I know it was on TV.
That's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't like it was. Come on now, don't do that.
I mean,
We're doing
it wasn't Coldplay, but but at the same time, Warren's biased. He thinks that Drake is up right now.
Listen,
and he's
if
not.
it-
we back up.
but-
Who's calling my phone?
First of all, if it's
Nobody's-
not,
I ain't heard that
if
nowhere.
it's not the Prince performance, it's not gonna make it. Nobody matches Prince's performance. Literally,
well, let me
it was literally raining during Purple Rain.
Oh, no, that was fire.
Can't nobody top that.
What y'all think about Rihanna's performance at the Super Bowl? Let me see.
I mean, it was
we'll keep
alright.
it real.
I'm not a Rihanna fan like that.
Yeah, I didn't think it was great.
Okay. All right.
I thought it was okay.
Y'all get
To be
on here
fair.
caking.
No.
All right.
No. But
But I love her. She was pregnant, so I don't hold that. Like,
I
she
don't
was
hold
pregnant,
it
so
against
there's
Yeah,
so
but
much she can do.
it wasn't an amazing performance or anything like that. It was she did the performance.
But I think when we talk about creatives in our community, I think Ryan, being as young as he is, him and his wife, it's not just him.
Mhm.
Him and his
Yeah.
wife,
Shout out to her as well.
is to me gives me hope in terms of our creative spaces, because I don't think anybody has been able to tap in as efficiently as he has with the movies that and the product that he's put out. Even the Fruitvale Station,
Yeah.
Bruh,
being his first work, and
easy.
and then come back and he hits you over the head with the $1 billion blockbuster and
Creed, Black Panther.
Creed, Black Panther. Yeah, that's right. It was Creed, then Black Panther. And then it's really it gives me hope for us in terms of creative spaces, as well as to my original point about us not assimilating. He doesn't assimilate. He moves with principle,
and he's gonna own all.
And he owns the rights of his creativity.
Crazy.
This is what I'm talking about. He gets. This is who we are when we don't assimilate.
When we don't assimilate, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna just let y'all know. Going to see Sinners made me, because I have ideas. Made me pick up a pen. You know what I'm saying? Made me say, you know what?
Tap in.
I'm even if I don't see it through, I can give it to somebody else. But the ideas that you have, the level that he went to make sure that this story was told the way it was told, to me is just like, if you have an idea out there, I'm talking to my black folks. I ain't really talking about anybody, but if you have an idea out there and it can uplift the people, then you owe it to yourself to at least try to put it out.
At least
try to deliver that. And even if it doesn't reach the level that Ryan Coogler's has reached, the world needs it some kind of way. And that's what for me, I went and got script software, and and I was like, you know what, I need to, do a little something here and there. Cause
I use Writer Duet.
I don't have the name of it right now, but I'll send it to you.
I know there's final draft.
I think that's the one that I downloaded.
I
did Scrivener as well. But I'm an Aquarius, and Warren knows we're creative as fuck. And
Right.
sometimes we just let that shit die so we can be, a part of what we're doing here, assimilate.
Assimilate.
And and so it inspired me. But anyway, with that being said, man,
We test on. You saw that.
Yes, sir. Go ahead and read it. Read what I wrote the boys in the group.
look,
All right?
man,
I expect that's happening at your house. I don't have a
Yeah.
problem. I got
Nah,
a,
but
I
she's
got a
not even a
fan.
fan though.
But my daughter is, so I
it's-
get all of it. My son is a fan of Kendrick. She's a fan
it's
of
got.
Drake.
I'll just say it's got. And I'm not a fan of Drake. It's just got
Right.
no
Boy,
ring at my
stop.
house because it's
Boy,
just not good.
Stop.
He need
You've
to
been
put some
hating on
good
that
music
man for over a decade. Sam, I ain't gonna let you get that off. I'm not gonna let you get that off. You've been a hater of this man for over a decade.
I'm not a hater. I'm a truth teller.
Now look, I hate on Kendrick.
I'm not a
y'all
fan.
know that. I hate on him.
I'm not a fan.
This man
Look,
over here is
it's-
lying right now to
It's
the American
okay
people.
to tell the truth about somebody that's popular.
Okay, then I'm telling the truth. Then I'm telling the truth about Kendrick. I'm not
That's
hating.
fine.
I'm telling the truth.
I don't disagree with you. I don't think Not Like Us is a great track, but I'm not gonna pretend like I'm listening to Pimp a Butterfly. Like that shit need to be in the Smithsonian where it need to be. But I'm just
though.
I mean, it's not though. It's jazz music. It's not hip hop. Like it's jazz. To
He said that, not me. Now I'm a hater, but
some would argue
Butterfly
that jazz is the
was straight jazz.
Is what hip hop was.
It
in the
is,
era.
but that's pre-hip hop.
No, it's pre.
It's not
no,
hip-hop.
it's pre what we call it hip hop now. That's a present day term. But the concept of jazz being the first iteration of creativity or improvisation,
I get
the
that.
ability to just grab the
I
crowd
get the art of it.
with your that's what I'm talking about, the art of it. Like
I get the art of it, but you can't call it hip hop.
if you reflect on Sinners and what the messaging was in terms of those that can kind of command the attention of the spirit and present world, it belongs to us in general. Like
I get that.
So that's
why it needs to be in the museum. That's why it needs to be it's not segmented, it's linear is what they're saying. You get what I'm saying? It's not a line segment, it's a line. But at the same time, there's parts of the line that you can clearly see they're different than the other parts of the line. I get what you're saying, but I'm also you got to make for the term or the purpose of the conversation, we're gonna make the distinction. To Pimp a Butterfly was jazz with rap over it, and it should be in the Smithsonian.
And I'm a hater, but that was fire.
Good Kid, Mad City was fire.
Fire as well.
Matt Damn was fire. To Pimp a Butterfly, nobody's listening to If These Walls Can Talk just on some. Nah, player, I'm not. We're not going there.
Robert Glasper beat Chris Brown. That's all I'm gonna say.
You said what?
Robert Glasper beat Chris Brown.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Put that.
I heard his
music, and as he should have. You know what? As he should have. And you want to know why? And I mean, we got off on a little tangent here, but Chris Brown at that point when Robert Glasper beat him, he had made the same album maybe 6 times.
That's fact.
It wasn't until this past album, 1111, where he started getting grown and vulnerable, talking about residuals and angel numbers and where it's like, you know what? You see, he's doing stadiums now. It's not.
And I just have to do a shameless plug. If anybody has like discounts on those tickets. Tickets for him performing at Truist Park, please. Hit me up. My wife was like, "Hey, can you get us those tickets?" And I looked at the price. I was like, "God damn!"
You need to go to Bobby Dodd, brother, because Truist Park is done. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. But Bobby Dodd tickets are still available if you'd like. They're about $350.
I mean, I if it's at Truist, I can just pull up at
the Battery.
I was going to name the spot, but I was like, let me not name the spot.
Man, whatever.
I just pull up, get a little set out right there, open up the back of the truck, and just had the food and the mosquito spray.
Bruh.
Jackson, boy.
Dog, look, man, this has been a fun conversation. I'm gonna say this. I already know what I'm gonna call this episode. I'm gonna call this episode Shedeur, Shannon, and Sinners.
Triple F.
Oh man. No, man. I really appreciate taking the time to have this conversation, man. I think that we covered a lot, but a lot needed to be covered.
There's still some left.
And I will say this with all of that, just to wrap everything up with a full bow. I started reading this book, The Man the Moment Demands. I feel as if, and he has this broken up into the 10 characteristics of manhood that they're not stationary, meaning you can do.
You move as you need to move.
You can move as you need to move.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it'd be beneficial to us to kind of take some time to break down those. As I learn them, I'm gonna bring them to the pod so we can have more conversation. Yeah, so we can have the conversation about it, because I feel as if it's a part of manhood that nobody talks about. We think about manhood in one space, but meeting the moment, meaning not failing in the moments where you need to be bold, you need to be bold. In the moments where you need to be vulnerable, be vulnerable. In the moments that you need to pull the gat out, pull the fucking gat out. And that's the kind of conversation we need to be had. And in the moments where you need to turn down a 19-year-old, you should do that. And in the moments where you need to, it's like we have to start having conversations about what it means to be an appropriate man out here. And with that being said, salute to Dion. You've done nothing wrong. You've done nothing but protect your son.
You did what you were supposed to do.
And the reality of the situation is, you're just a product of the system created to keep you where you are. And that's just the reality of what we have going on here. Salute to Shedeur, Shiloh, Dion Jr., and all his daughters. I just feel as if they held each other down. They showed us a tight, real family unit.
Close, real family.
Close, real family. And I just think that what's crazy about it is, even in the moments where they tried to disparage you, those people were streaming. They probably made millions of dollars in the amount of days that it took for them to draft. People kept watching the streams
just to see
if he would break, just to see if he would give up. And so, in the words of Floyd Mayweather, a cheer and a boo is the same thing. And so, y'all got anything else, fellas?
No, you just gave me a great idea. Talk about it offline.
Hey, man, look. With that being said, man, like I said, if you want more conversations like these, it's You Good Bro Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's You Good Bro Pod. I am Sam Duke. I'm good.
Hey, I'm Tel McHale. I am good.
I'm Warren P, and I'm good.
And just like that, we out.
OVO Nation, we back.